Apple's naming scheme is horrible. There are actually 17 mainline iPhones, that is including the S models, that are out currently. So you're probably wondering, how are there 17 iPhones but we're only on the iPhone 15? This is the iPhone 1st gen, which is the first generation iPhone. There's nothing wrong with the naming scheme currently because it was just called iPhone. People like to say iPhone 2G, which technically is true, but Apple never actually used that name. Apple only said iPhone. Then the phone that came after this was the iPhone 3G. And now this is where we see our first confusion. Isn't this supposed to be the iPhone 2? Why is it the iPhone 3G? Well, basically, Apple's main selling point for this iPhone was the 3G capabilities. And they wanted people to know that their phones had 3G. But yet this is the second generation iPhone. Now here's the thing. If Apple would have named this the iPhone 3, it would sound like a downgrade to the iPhone 3G, which has 3G support. So, to make sure people still knew their phones had 3G, they kept the 3G there and put an S. Although this was also the third generation iPhone. Okay, so do we get the iPhone 4 next? Actually, yes. This is the only iPhone that is named according to its generation. The iPhone 4 was the first and last iPhone to be named after its generation. As you can see, 4th generation iPhone, and the name is iPhone 4. Thank you, Apple. You made so much sense, don't you? Hopefully the next phone will be iPhone 5. What the f***? Yes, as the 5th generation iPhone, it was another S model. Or at least it had Siri. The most amazing iPhone yet. Let's see how many more times we can hear that. But here's where it gets really confusing. The iPhone 5 is a 6th generation phone. Now if we scroll to the 5C, if you scroll down, it is also the 6th generation, although it was released next to the 6S in 2013, which means technically the iPhone 5C should be a 7th gen device. Now here's also where it gets confusing. Usually Apple would keep 3 phones for sale on their website, like they do now. For the 4 lineup, it would be the 4S, 4, then the 3GS. The 4S will be at its normal price, then the 4 will be for $100, and the 3GS would be for free with a 2-year plan. Damn, I wish Apple still did that. Or the colorful. Is that supposed to be a gay reference? But instead of keeping the iPhone 5, they switched it out with an iPhone 5C and put that at $100. So now we move on to the iPhone 6. Now I move on to the iPhone 6, which is actually the 8th gen device. I have nothing to say about this device, to be honest. Then the iPhone 6 got its own S model as well. It included a new color and was also the 9th generation iPhone. iPhone 7, I hate the iPhone 7, I have nothing to say about it. Anyway, this is the 10th generation iPhone. The iPhone 8 came out as the 11th gen iPhone. Keep mind of this before we go to the iPhone 10. iPhone 10. This is not going to make sense at all. Scrolling down, this is also the 11th iPhone. I actually have no idea why they named this the 11th iPhone. But then, what came after it? Another S model phone. iPhone XS came out, was the 12th generation iPhone. But there was also another phone that was sold alongside it, the iPhone XR, 12th gen. Then, the successor to the iPhone XS was the iPhone 11. This was the 13th generation phone. The phone to come next is the iPhone 12 lineup, which is the 14th generation iPhone. Now, I'm getting really tired of just going through this, so here's just the rest of the iPhones. So what would the iPhone naming scheme look like if it was done correctly, according to the generations? Well, it would look like this. Pretty horrifying, right? Thank you guys for watching. That's gonna be it. Goodbye.